Simon, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. This is your second attempt at this franchise. What was it like after the first time around to come back and give it a whole new go again?
I feel very lucky, actually. I feel very. It's been a really interesting creative process, being able to um, take a swing and then take a look at what we did well and what I could have done better, and then take those learnings and then really build on that to bring to the second one. And I think my goal was to make a noticeable move that it felt like a dialing up of the scale and the emotion and just the sort of maximalist execution of it. That would, for me, was a really enjoyable creative process and bringing that to the screen. And so everything was really about how do we dial this up to make it a really satisfying sequel.
And I suppose with that, was there anything when you were doing the first film that you thought, if I get a chance to do this again, I would love to do this way differently?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I needed to get better at understanding story and the script and script structure. And I really sort of put myself through a sort of a self-imposed learning on that between the first and the starting of making of the second one. So I really spent a lot of my time really digging into that. And I think the the goal was, let's take what was successful about the opening of the first film, and let's make an entire film that feels like that. And that was easier said than done, but that was the sort of spirit of what was behind it. That was like, okay, well, why did that work? And let's just make a whole movie
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. I love
Yeah.
that. Obviously, your latest addition to the cast is Karl Urban as Johnny Cage. What was it like bringing that character into the mix?
Oh, I mean, it was exciting so much that obviously wildly popular, widely well known. But we had to do something with that character that wasn't just wasn't exactly what everyone was expecting, but was still respectful and appropriate for the versions of Johnny that we've seen in the game over the years.
Mm.
So we wanted a character, a version of him that had a connectivity to reality. So we thought it would be interesting to start him on the bottom, like he's really at the lowest ebb of his life, and that's when we meet him. And so my goal and sort of learning and just wanting to put into his character was just how to make sure that he had a journey to go on. So we started him rock bottom and where he can get to through the adversity that we throw in his path. So um, it was great fun working with Carl. I mean, he's so much fun. He's total pro, just brings it every day on set. And yeah, there was a lovely spirit around the whole cast and the whole crew, actually. And the new actors that all came in, like Adeline and Tati and Martin and Damon and Anna and CJ. It just added to the great cast that we already had. And it was kind of amazing just watch. They all just sort of, it was like um, watching them all just bond, and it was great. So it was really good fun.
Yeah, that's really cool. You can really tell through the film that there's a really great bond amongst that cast because they all did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Obviously in the first film, there's so much action throughout, and this one's got more of that. From a technical point of view, was there ever anything in terms of like a fight scene or something that was a bit difficult to try and figure out how you guys were going to shoot that on the day?
I mean, they all have their challenges, but the process we have is with Kyle Gardner, the stunt coordinator and second unit director. So he and I worked very, very closely, and we started on worked together on the first one, but on this one we started together very early. So we spent a lot of time talking about story, and I'm talking about character, so that they always grew and developed throughout all of the action, all of the fights. So once we'd worked out those fundamentals and got that right, then we knew what we needed to apply. So for instance, in the Blue Portal with Liu Kang and Kung Lao, we knew that had to be this operatic scale, that we knew that arena needed to be kind of beautiful and appropriate to the scale of the challenge that those guys had, and the fact that Liu Kang did not want to have that fight, and now he's been set up against his brother and his his dear friend, and it's kind of the worst case scenario for Liu Kang. So I think a lot of the creative conversations, the process, and I know with Jeremy throughout the script, we talked about how do we make sure that we're prioritizing the characters so that when they do get to a fatality, an arena that everyone loves, or it's actually, there's a really good reason for that
Yeah.
based on their character, not just because, oh, that'd be cool. It's going to be cool, but it has to be connective to character and story.
For sure. And I guess with that mention of like certain things having a certain scale, how was it being able to translate this film into an IMAX aspect ratio?
It was great. I mean, the IMAX, we knew about IMAX very early, so we sort of build, and in knowing the structure of the story and the script, knowing that we end in Netherrealm, and we have these arena fights all the way through, it sort of became there became a logic as to, okay, this is where we should start really opening up, and this is where we should start using the IMAX, and to be able to swing really hard. So, Netherrealm is just all IMAX. It's just the whole thing is just there. And then what I wanted to do was use the visual language in the games in when we go to certain arenas that they open up. In the games, when you go from the story mode to fight mode, it just does that. So I wanted to I thought, oh, well, that's perfect because it happens in the game. We can do it here. And then on top of that, I wanted to add another element that you can only see in the IMAX version. And that is, so if you're a super fan, you need to see it in IMAX because there's a few little gems I've sprinkled into the real estate above that is not just like, oh, we've made the screen bigger, but it's like, we've made the screen bigger, and then there's something up there for you as well.
That's really cool. Wait, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. All the best with this film and going forward. And hope to see you again soon.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much.
Nice chatting.
It's showtime.